Welcome to the Sleep Sense Show. As always, brought to you by the Sleep Sense program, where podcast listeners can get a free customized sleep plan by going to www.sleepsense.net/listen.
Hi, I'm Dana. Welcome to the show. I've been in this sleep business now for the past 14 years, and over those years, I've seen a lot of new discoveries and development, and even just a general awareness about sleep really grow and change. And I'm really excited by that. I think for a lot of years, we didn't know anything about sleep. We didn't know why we slept or how important it was to our overall health and wellness. And that trend has changed. I think more and more people now are educating themselves and they're learning about sleep as a science. It's really picked up over the last 50 years or so, but that's relatively new for a science. And we're just discovering, how deeply sleep is connected to our overall health and wellness. We know, that sleep has an impact on our weight and our mood and our productivity, our cardiovascular health, you name it, and sleep's going to touch it. So when Dr. Barr reached out to me to share with our listeners some of the important ways in which sleep helps our skin, I was happy to have her join our show today. Dr. Keira Barr is a dermatologist who's been working in the skincare field for her whole career and really is passionate about helping people understand that getting good quality sleep every night is so important to their health, but also to their skin health. And sleep actually protects our skin in a lot of really, really cool ways. She's also going to share with us some of her favorite and must-dos as far as keeping our skin healthy, what to watch for with our skin. And she also has a new book that she's going to share with us. Her book is called The Skin Whisperer, and that's about how our skin sort of tells a story. And if we start watching and looking at our skin, it can actually tell us important things about what's going on inside and as far as our health is concerned. So I'm going to go ahead and turn over the reins now and share with you this really interesting interview with Dr. Barr. Enjoy. Hi everyone, this is Dana. Welcome to today's show. I love having special guests here, and we have a very special guest with us today. Dr. Keira Barr is here to talk to us about what our skin reveals about our health and our wellness. And why I think these things are so important is because, while sleep is my passion, as everyone knows, and I think that, our skin can definitely tell us some tales about what's going on with our self-care and our sleep quality and all of that stuff. So I think it's often overlooked, very important piece of our bodily makeup. We kind of tend to ignore our skin or be angry at our skin because it's wrinkling and not doing what we want it to do. So I'm excited today to chat with Dr. Barr a bit more about this thing called our skin. Welcome.
Thank you so much. It's
great
to be here, Dina.
Awesome. Well, why don't you just jump right in and tell us why skin? Why did this become a passion of yours? And tell us a little bit maybe about your own journey to getting healthy skin.
Sure. So it's really interesting, in medical school, I somehow knew what skin conditions were. So I loved histology and wound up choosing dermatology, but it wasn't until recently that I kind of really put the pieces of my story together, and it became clear why I was so attracted to it. And it really goes back to my childhood. I was born with 2 birthmarks on my face, and as a kid didn't pay much mind. And then when I went to school, kids made fun of them, and they called them coffee stains, and they called me coffee stain face, which was not very kind. But it was my first experience of becoming acutely aware that my skin could be a source of shame and pain and humiliation. And from that, I quickly found ways to mask that discomfort by tanning my skin. So those birthmarks really faded into the background. Fast forward to my adulthood, I become a dermatologist and I realized how dangerous my actions really were. I accumulated a significant sun damage and ultimately had to diagnose myself with one of the most deadly skin cancer there is, which is melanoma. And that was my wake-up call, that in terms of having to completely transform my perception of what I viewed as healthy and how to take care of myself.
Wow, yeah, that's pretty powerful, isn't it? I know for myself, I'm telling you, and I'll be honest with all the listeners as well, from the time I hit puberty, basically, and I won't lie, until the day I practically turned 40, I had acne, just all of my adult life pretty much, and it was really the biggest. If a genie ever came down and granted me wishes, that was always number one on my wish list. It would be like, I wish I had clear skin. And, I would try everything. And it's funny when you have such a visible problem, right? People love to give you advice, and everybody would be like, you should try this. You should try that. Have you tried this? And I tried everything, and it was so painful and frustrating, and so I absolutely can relate to feeling like it was shameful. I felt ashamed of my skin.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the biggest components. Our skin is our largest organ, and we often take it for granted. We don't appreciate the incredible things that it does for us. We usually look at it as our foe, something that's sabotaging us, breaking out in acne, especially before a big event, or, you're on vacation and you have this rash, you don't know what it is, or it keeps you up at night. And, it is, amazing that we do look for the quick fixes, the lotions and the potions. And what I found and, what I share with clients and patients is that there is a place for topical treatments or some medical treatments, but until we start really looking at what's happening below the surface, we're not going to get the results that we want in terms of glowing, healthy skin.
Mm-hmm. So I like that you mentioned it's not just an outer covering, it's a reflection of what's going on inside of the body. So explain a little bit more about that philosophy that you have, and what sort of your first steps when you're trying to get to the bottom or the root of problems.
Yeah, absolutely. So your skin, as your largest organ, it truly is a window to and reflection of your overall state of health and your emotional well-being. Our skin, things pop up on our skin. And, as a dermatologist, we're trained to know what those findings are, and it really can give us so much information. And so one of the biggest things that I share with people is that whole concept of just taking notice. Using your skin as this powerful tool, taking notice of what's on your skin, what you consider to be the normal texture, the normal spots, taking notice of how you're sleeping, especially. We'll dive into that, but how you're sleeping, not just the quantity, but the quality of your sleep and the impact that can have on your overall health and well-being, the food you're eating, how you're eating, the people that you spend time with, and how you feel when you're with them. All of those things, basically every facet of your life, just taking notice of it, because whether we acknowledge it or not, it definitely plays a role in the quality and the health of our skin.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. And so, we know that sleep can affect our hormones, but how does this then affect our skin?
Absolutely. So a lack of sleep disrupts the usual daily hormonal patterns, causing your cortisol to increase and your melatonin to decrease. And so these two hormones are the most significant when it comes to sleep. And so by your cortisol increasing, your stress levels are heightened, as well as the inflammation in your body. And for your skin, this can manifest as a worsening of inflammatory skin conditions, including acne, eczema, and psoriasis. And the problem is it's not just a one-way mechanism. So, for example, eczema can lead to increased itching, and then that can further disrupt sleep. So this vicious cycle can begin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and what about stress? Does stress play a role on what shows up on our skin?
Absolutely. So, stress, as I mentioned, it can set off a cascade of inflammation. It also can disrupt the permeability barrier of your skin. So one of the major functions of your skin is really to serve as a protective barrier from your external environment, protecting you from infection, from irritants. And stress can break that barrier down. So you can become more susceptible to skin infections, irritation, dry skin, flaky skin. So the quality of your skin can be significantly impacted by stress, as well as, again, turning on inflammatory markers that can turn on your oil glands, worsening your acne. So it can, So stress can play a significant role.
Mm-hmm. So when someone comes into your office, I don't know, with eczema or something like that, or just a breakout or some sort of concerns about their skin, is looking at sleep part of your protocol?
It is. It's funny. It didn't used to be. But because of my own journey where I had to really critically evaluate, it really now is, especially with something like eczema, which is a true inflammatory condition. Sleep can have such a significant impact that definitely is part of the questions that we dig deep into.
Mm-hmm. And just like making sure, or at least discussing it, or making suggestions around how to get more of it. I would imagine that's probably the number one thing you see showing up, is that just people aren't getting enough.
Yeah, and I think this idea, it's not just, again, quantity; it's the quality of your sleep. And so having some sort of routine before you go to bed, really unwinding, doing that digital detox, getting the light, the blue light to a minimum a few hours before bed, if possible, because the other, in addition to cortisol, the other major hormone, impacted significantly during sleep is your melatonin. And that really, is kicked on, when it's completely dark. Mm-hmm. And so, creating the environment, an appropriate environment to get optimal sleep is so key.
Absolutely. And you were telling me something very interesting when we spoke, earlier about, this new research that's linking melatonin with, was it skin cancer prevention or treatments?
Yeah. But it was both. So, we know that melatonin is one of the most potent endogenous, meaning that our body creates, one of the most potent antioxidants that our body can create. And melatonin has a role within the cells in our epidermis as well as our dermis, protecting the cells against cell death and stimulating the growth of our fibroblasts. And the fibroblasts are responsible for the production of collagen and elastin. So that gives our skin that youthful, firm, supple appearance. The other insignificant thing that melatonin does, to which you were just referring, is that it plays a really important role in our skin's ability to deal with environmental stressors, especially UV radiation. And so melatonin can basically combat the free radicals that are generated through exposure to ultraviolet radiation, not only itself, but it also can stimulate production of other antioxidants that help fight the damage caused by ultraviolet rays itself, like superoxide dismutase and glutathione. In fact, melatonin has been shown to be a stronger scavenger of free radicals than vitamin C or vitamin E, which are in a lot of beauty products that you'll find.
Oh, wow.
So recent research has been using melatonin both topically and orally, not just for skin cancer prevention. There was a study that showed that using melatonin before going out in the sun can actually minimize the risk of sunburn, but they're also using it orally to both prevent and treat skin cancer. So it's really an exciting area of research. It's relatively new and evolving. But bottom line, we can create melatonin ourselves by creating an appropriate sleep environment and be able to combat that oxidative stress on a daily basis.
I love that. Yay, sleep. Just another.
Yes.
It's just been a really cool journey for me being in the sleep business for the last 14 years. I've just, really watched this evolution of sleep knowledge and education and research where, we just know so much more now about how it impacts our health, like all the way from weight gain to heart failure. Like it just goes on. And here's another, really amazing discovery that how our melatonin kind of keeps us safe. And it's just super awesome. So, I love it. And for those of you who aren't sure, we are a bit of a quick fix society, and so a lot of people are running to the drugstores to take melatonin supplements thinking they don't have enough. But I can give a couple of tips, and Dr. Barr, I'm sure, has a couple of tips to share too today about how you can create your own melatonin. Your body is absolutely brilliant at doing that, but there's some things you really need to keep an eye on and be mindful about. So do you want to tell us a couple of your tips for creating good quality melatonin?
Yeah, I think it all starts with creating that environment that can appeal to all your senses to promote good sleep and get those restful Z's. And the first, as I mentioned, it's that sight, right? So melatonin is only the production is only stimulated when it's really dark. So you've got to minimize your exposure to blue light in the evening, and whether that be adding a filter to your computer or your phone, wearing blue blocker glasses, blackout curtains, an eye mask. I kind of do a combination of all those things. And then, sound in our rooms. There are some sounds that are disruptive to our sleep. So using earplugs or a white noise machine can help, or, using sounds that are soothing. If using music or something like that helps you go to sleep, whatever it is to create that environment. And I think the sense of touch is incredibly powerful. So, treating yourself to bedding that really oozes comfort is huge, as well as creating the right temperature range. Mm-hmm. We sleep best when our body temperature is a little cooler, between 65 and 75 degrees. I mean, I personally have a chili pad. It's this contraption I put underneath my sheets, and I can regulate my temperature, so I can find my optimum temperature. And I found without it, I overheat sometimes. Mm-hmm. So that is something that I found incredibly helpful.
Mm-hmm. All good. Yeah. All great advice. I would just speak to that, that this, I always tell people you want your bedroom to kind of be like a cave, like cool and dark and cozy and comfortable. But even the slightest, like a lot of people sleep with televisions in their bedrooms, which I would encourage everybody to rethink. But even just the little, the little light that emits from the TV, even when it's off, that can be enough of a disruption that's going to impact your melatonin, and along with your alarm clock. If you've got an alarm clock block that emits a light throughout the night, either turn it so it's all the way facing the wall, or consider taking it right out and putting it in the bathroom, maybe if you need your alarm to wake you, and just get that light source, all the light sources out, so that can preserve your melatonin function.
Absolutely. And there is, TrueDark is a company that sells these blue blocker glasses, but they also have these TrueDark dots, and they're little stickers, that I have used, or I do use on those little lights in the room. Like we have in our electrical outlet, there's this little green light that's attached to the plug. And so I just put these little dots kind of all over the place to block out that light. And it works really, really well. So there are some tools and tricks that if you really need your alarm clock in your room, maybe you can get some of these dots or something similar where you can just mask the lighting.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to hear that. I have a little kit that I travel with. I travel quite a bit, and in there is a pair of scissors and black electrical tape. And I go around, I turn off all the lights, I go around, I cover up all those little light sources. But I didn't know that there was such a thing. I love that even better. Then I don't have to, it would be way less cumbersome than carrying around a roll of electrical tape.
Right. And less sticky.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I love that. Oh, I'm gonna totally go buy some as soon as we're done. So excited.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
Awesome. All right. Well, so then let's talk, we've got women listening here, and women are, very concerned about their skin and keeping it healthy and keeping it as young looking as possible. So let's talk a little bit about that, sort of from the cosmetic side of like keeping our skin healthy and as age free as we can possibly get it.
Sure. Well, getting quality sleep is going to be a huge facet there, because as I mentioned, during sleep, it's a time when your skin is rebalancing its hydration status, and it increases its capacity to retain water to keep your skin supple and moisturized. So a lack of sleep interferes with your proper water balance, and that results in puffiness, dryness, and visible wrinkles, as well as stress, contributing to inflammation. So we touched on those things. So another plug just for getting good sleep. And prior to going to sleep, kind of doing a brain dump. We all, at the end of the day, we have a list of things that we're concerned about, worried about. Just pour it out into a journal or to your spouse or your good friend. Just, clear your mind. So those are some simple things to do. We touched on skin cancer a little bit. And so one of the most significant things that women can do to keep their skin youthful, is really focusing on how they're protecting themselves from the sun and other environmental stressors like air pollution. 90% of, aging, or what we call photoaging, is really, we know it's from exposure to sun, right? So the premature aging, I should say, has been attributed to the sun, 90%. So sun protection is huge. And sun protection isn't just sunscreen. In fact, I always like to say that sunscreen should be your last line of defense, not your first. Oh. But it absolutely should be a part of your daily routine, just like brushing your teeth. But you can't rest your laurels just on sunscreen alone to give you the protection you need, because the majority of us, myself included sometimes, admittedly, not putting on enough sunscreen to actually get the SPF that it says on the bottle. So you have to have a comprehensive strategy.
So what else would you do if that's the last thing you should be doing? What are the sort of first things?
Right. So another plug for sleep, and building a strong foundation of health. And that really begins with nourishing your body from the inside out. So, when we look at nutrition, looking at how we're eating, and what we're eating. So looking at if you're eating foods, ideally eating as many foods as possible that don't come from a box or a package. So eating a a wide variety of nutrient-dense fruits and vegetables that have high levels of antioxidants and vitamins and minerals that can naturally combat the stresses that are incurred by sun exposure. We know that, vitamin C, vitamin A, vitamin B, selenium, copper, all of those nutrients you can find in foods. You may need to supplement as well, but by eating a wide variety of fruits and veggies, you are getting so much bang for your buck, not only for your overall health, but for your skin health as well. So whole foods, hands down, and eating a wide variety of it too. It doesn't matter, I'm not stringent on whether you do like the keto diet, the Whole30 diet, you have to make it work for you. I think it's, it's frustrating to be so dogmatic about it, but as best you can, hydration and whole foods are the best place to start. And then, good sleep and, really focusing on, your emotional well-being as well, because when we are not in a good headspace, again, that sets your cortisol levels through the roof. Mm-hmm. And we know the havoc that can wreak on your skin integrity. It contributes to breakdown of your collagen and elastin, so premature fine lines and wrinkles. So some of just the foundational principles of eating well, sleeping well, getting some moderate exercise, and basically loving well. And that includes, your relationship with other people, but most importantly, that relationship with yourself.
Right. Oh, I love that. That's excellent. And you mentioned hydration, and, I always get so confused about that. Some people say drink 8 glasses of water a day. I read somewhere that it's 10. Somebody said 3 liters a day. Is there like a magic number on how much water we should be consuming?
I know that's a tough one. The party line that I've heard the most is, and seems to bode fairly well, is taking your body weight and dividing it in half. So a 120-pound woman would, ideally drink 60 ounces of water a day, more so, if she's sweating, doing a hard workout, but that would kind of be the baseline. Mm. So half your body weight in ounces. And then, you gauge it when you go to the bathroom, like how clear is your urine? That's an easy test. If it's really yellow, then you need more hydration. If it's clear, well, then you're pretty good.
I see. Okay. All right. Well, that's a good rule of thumb. That's pretty easy to figure out then how much water you should be shooting for. Mm-hmm. In a day. Awesome. All right. So I know that you're busy working on a book, or it's coming out soon. Can you tell us a little bit more about your book and what sort of motivated you to write it?
Yeah. So actually the book is out.
Oh, yay.
Yay. So, the book is called The Skin Whisperer. Dermatology reveals how to look younger, radiate beauty, and create the life you crave. And this book was completely inspired by my own journey having to deal with skin cancer and really having to critically reevaluate my life, because at the time that I was diagnosed, I thought I was doing everything right. I mean, I was running ultra marathons. I was wearing sunscreen. I was wearing protective clothing. I thought I was eating healthy. And what I found out is that, my goodness, I'm doing things pretty wrong. My body was telling me, shouting at me that it needed my help, and I was completely deaf to it. So the Skin Whisperer, even though I've been called the Skin Whisperer because I can look at people's skin and know what the diagnosis or what have you, the book is really to hear your skin sending the message to you when they're just a whisper, not chatting as it was in my case. And so the book is a blueprint, a guide, walking you step by step of how to use your skin as a powerful tool to really dig deep and understand what your body might be telling you, and then how to go about making some modifications that can improve not just your skin health, but your overall health and your well-being.
That sounds really fascinating. Where can people find out more about it or where to get it?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's on Amazon. And there's wider distribution on, it should be on barnesandnoble.com. But Amazon is the best place to find it.
Okay. And do you have a website?
Yeah. So my website is, chooseresilience.com. It's the Resilient Health Institute. So www.chooseresilience.com is where people can find it.
Awesome. Well, before I let you go for today, I'm always curious. I love to know sort of the inside secrets of what people are up to. So tell us, do you have what are your 3 skincare rituals that you do every day?
Yeah, every day. So especially at night, the 3 things I do are I wash my face with a gentle cleanser. As I mentioned earlier, air pollution is a significant environmental stress on our skin. We know that the polyaromatic hydrocarbons have been shown to cause hyperpigmentation, so discolor the skin nearly as much as ultraviolet exposure. So you want to get that dirt and grime off your skin. So washing my face every day. I use an antioxidant serum that includes vitamin C and vitamin E on a nightly basis, and I follow that with a topical retinoid. So a topical retinoid is a vitamin A derivative and hands down the most bang for your buck in terms of anti-aging, and we use it in acne. So because it increases skin cell turnover, it decreases sebum production, clears out those pores, it turns on your collagen and elastin production, so it plumps the skin. So cleaning my face, antioxidant serum, and a topical retinoid are my tried and true.
Do you have a favorite brand? Or do you actually sell those brands, or do you?
So I don't sell those brands at the moment, but I use a prescription strength topical retinoid, but over the counter there's lots of different varieties. In terms of the antioxidant regimen, I use DaVita. It is based out of Arizona, and she's a PhD who created the line, and it's pretty cosmetically elegant, and I like that one. But topical retinoids, the biggest thing with them that's important to keep in mind is because it does increase skin cell turnover, it can make your skin a little bit more sensitive the next day, and that's why wearing a moisturizer with sunscreen is so important. And so I always say start slow. There's Rock is one, Oil Valet has their own products on credobeauty.com. That's a great resource for more natural products. And in their anti-aging column, there are lots of great varieties. So I'm not really I don't like to just say you must use this or that.
Right.
Because everyone's skin sensitivities are so different. You have to experiment. But with a topical retinoid, the key is start slow. Maybe use it once or twice a week until you know how your body's going to react to it.
Right. That's good advice. Yeah, having had so many people tell me to try this and try that, I know firsthand that once you've really got to tinker with it and find something that works for your skin. And I said, that's it. This is the one I'm using for the rest of my life. I finally found it.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's key. It's always good to take people's advice, listen to it, assess it for yourself. But bottom line is, your body and your skin better than anyone else. And that would be my other big takeaway for people listening is, once a month on the date of your birthday, before you get in the shower, you're already naked. Check your skin from head to toe, checking your birthday suit for any uninvited guests, any spot that stands out from your crowd, anything that's new, that's changing. You just want to be on top of it so you can bring it to your dermatologist to check out. It may be nothing, but you want to just get so familiar with your skin so that you can jump on anything that might be out of your ordinary.
That's great advice. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking some time out of your day to come talk to us. Again, if you want to get the guide and dive a little deeper into this, I definitely think it would be worth everyone's while. And the book is called The Skin Whisperer. So thank you so much, Dr. Barr. I really enjoyed this conversation.
Well, thank you so much. I did too.
All right, bye for now, everyone. As always, please sleep well.
Thanks so much for listening. For more great tips on helping your child sleep through the night, remember to subscribe, rate, and review the show on iTunes or Stitcher, and never miss an episode.